This will be a drastically different type of video for me. Not something that necessarily stretches me in terms of commentary on gameplay. I'm not going to show any college all 22 film on my YouTube channel. I've learned that lesson. I was today years old when I found out how great of a football player Jalen Pitre was. I watched the game against West Virginia and against BYU from his senior season. I was just shocked at the complete the complete nature of how he can play. He can impact the game on so many levels of the field. Start all the way at the back. I've seen him play some free safety, half field safety. Generally in Baylor's 4-2-5, he's the nickel safety or the star, oftentimes set to the field. Um, Great at intermediate coverage, if you ask me, whether it's man or zone. I've seen some criticism of his ability to play zone and stay disciplined in zone. I didn't see that. I just did not see that. I thought I saw a guy who was incredible high awareness and incredibly aggressive against the run and coming downhill, blitzing off the edge. Now, you can say how much is he going to be blitzing off the edge? Whatever. But if you're talking about from a Ravens perspective, it's unbelievable to me that there might be a guy who could just replace Tavon Young in terms of the explosiveness when he blitzes, the ability to tackle like Tavon had, which was I thought was stood out. I thought it was an outlier among nickel DBs, a guy who could tackle as well as as Tavon Young could, and Jalen Pitre looks like hell he might be better. I knew that he was Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. I did not know that he led the Big 12 in tackles for loss. Of course, he's playing that nickel or that star position. So he's out there, out in space a lot, blitzing off the edge. The game against West Virginia was just shocking how effective he was at blitzing off the edge against run plays or against pass plays. But 17 and a half tackles for loss. I mean, come on, that's unbelievable. And then I did not know this either. He's the only player in FBS with 3 fumble recoveries, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions in 2021. Just shocking how complete the guy is. I know he's a second-round projection. I would not expect him to be there. If he's there at 45, he's not going to be there at 55. I'm not sure that I have a way to justify to you about him surviving past mid-second round. I cannot see that happening. But maybe there's some people who have better eyes than me. Some of the things about him that I noticed when I was looking at some of his information. I redshirted as a junior, which shocked me. I'm trying to find. He's academic All-American, like 3 years, I believe. First team All Big 12 twice. Those areas, academic All-American again in the Big 12 as a junior, again in 2018. Trying to find his academic information. Not that necessarily translates to being a smart football player, but I think he's incredibly smart. Yeah. Completed his undergrad degree in August of 2020. So he started in 2017 at Baylor, as you can see. And he had graduated it with his undergrad in 3 years. And then according to this, working on a master's degree in educational psychology. Of course, that appeals to me because I'm a former or current teacher, I guess, still. Look, I will show some film, but I will put it on Twitter. Not putting all 22 film on my YouTube at all. Other people do it. Good for them. I'm glad they get away with it. I am unsure how to say to you that Jalen Pitre is not a great target for the Ravens at 45. Of course, Andrew Booth could be there. 14, 24, 32, whatever, if the Ravens under a trade back scenario. So if you draft Andrew Booth, then you probably don't draft Jalen Pitre. I get it. But man, it's quite appealing to see a guy with his size. They have him listed at 6 foot, 197 here. Plays bigger than that if you ask me, especially when coming downhill off the edge as a blitzer. Big fan. Like I said, I was today years old when I found out that he was not just a good to very good football player, but a great one. Hopefully on Twitter I can show some of his coverage skills because I know that's the big thing for the Ravens. So if you wanted to say, hey, I don't think Pitre is a great target for the Ravens because we need to look at pure cover guys. Hey, okay, I would kind of co-sign that. I understand it because to win our division, we've got to deal with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins with the Bengals, and then Amari Cooper and whoever the Browns draft. To me, the Browns are going to be looking at receivers as well, obviously. So let me know what you think. I'm not necessarily going to monetize this one, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to put as much content out there as possible related to the draft prior to the draft, draft day, which I think is going to be crazy. If you're interested, some people in my Discord, we're going to do like a draft watch party, a virtual draft watch party, obviously, and kind of watch the draft together the first and or second day. Let me know what you guys think of Jalen Pitre and what you think of some content like this. Again, I'm not necessarily interested in monetizing it. Just wanted to call out my own limitations in terms of scouting people and not really having watched Jalen Pitre his best two games. Let me rephrase that. I watched him against Oklahoma in a good to not great game. I think he had like one tackle for loss, 4 or 5 tackles. I thought he had a pass breakup that he didn't get credit for in the Oklahoma game. But the BYU and West Virginia games stick out like a sore thumb, and I intend to complete a short film study, definitely for my patrons, and maybe for Twitter as well. Based on those two games.